This is entry 4 of Expedition Handheld. I'm Adam Patrick Murray, and I will be your guide through this journey of handheld discovery. Every week, we will take you on a new adventure through the wide world of handheld gaming. Buckle up. This is Expedition Handheld. So I am joined in the studio today by one Sean Hollister from The Verge. Sean, thank you for not only coming into the studio and chatting with us here on Expedition Handheld, but also being our official first guest of the podcast.
I'm the first?
The very first guest. Yeah. I mean, this is only episode 4, so...
I'm so honored. I'm so honored.
Somebody had to be first, and it was you.
I actually did know this. You let on that this might be happening, and I listened to your other episodes, which are amazing, and there were no guests in there. So
exactly.
It had to be somebody.
It had to be somebody. For people who don't know, which I think they should know you, you're Sean Hollister from The Verge. But who is Sean? And why are you here?
I've spent quite a while trying to figure that out. Haven't fully, but I helped co-found The Verge a long time ago and was kind of a general purpose news editor, reviewer kind of guy. And at one point I realized that I am just a big kid who loves to play with toys. And so now what I do is I try to play with as many cool gadgets as possible and write about how awesome they are. And I lucked out in that nobody else was quite ready to harness the power that is Steam Deck and gaming handhelds at The Verge, other than myself at that particular moment. And so I got super into PC gaming handhelds. I've started to grab a couple Anbernics and things here and there as well. And so I love what you're doing here, and very happy to be on the show.
Glad to have you here. We have not gotten rid of Russ. Russ is just on vacation with his family. So
that's good.
I've talked to Russ, and we were like, hey, who should we have on the show who would be cool? And I was like, well, I know this guy, Sean. So I'm glad to have you here. We have a lot to get to today. There's some interesting little tidbits of news. I do want to hear, what latest devices that you're testing over at The Verge. But first up, we are going to check out a new device that neither of us have gotten our hands on before. So for the very first time, let's get our hands on the Lenovo Legion Fold concept.
Yes.
We have magically summoned a Lenovo Legion Fold in front of us.
It is incredible. This thing is a giant folding screen sandwiched between two controllers, two halves of controllers. And these halves of controllers, they have prongs. They finally have prongs. They're not slabs like on the Legion Go S. They have prongs like an Xbox Ally X, or pistol grips, if you will.
Yeah, this is exciting. Luckily, Lenovo was kind enough to stop by the studio here. I'm really bummed that Russ couldn't be a part of the conversation because he had a lot of questions. But neither of us have seen this in person yet. So This is literally our first time seeing it, getting hands-on with it. I have a lot of questions. You have a lot of questions. Russ has some questions as well, and I'm going to go ahead and address the first question real quick. Let's go ahead and take off the controller here. The thing that I talked about with Russ before when we talked about this a couple episodes ago was, this thing has to bend inward, right, to protect the screen. I was sure that it was going to bend inward. Let's go ahead and try to bend inward here.
Oh, no.
Oh, and you can not.
There's even a little bit of bulge from the folding screen when you try to do it. You are not meant to do that. Do not do that more, please.
Yeah, sorry. I'm not going to break it. It's not meant to be bent inward. I am a little surprised, but we will talk about that. But it does bend outward just fine in this configuration. So Lenovo tells me that it is actually really hard to have a device that has a bending screen just in general. And so I guess I oversimplified what I thought would be an easy problem to be able to have it bend both inward and outward. But now that I think about it, I don't think there's any devices on the market, like tablets, phones, anything that goes both ways, right?
You have to pick a direction because you've got gearing in these hinges that needs to have a limiter at one end to keep the plastic from bending too much, or the screen from bending too much. There's just only so far it can go, and it's meant to be repeatedly bent in one direction. But now that I see it in person, now that I've held it and attached the controllers to it, I kind of get another reason why that's important.
Yes, yeah. You brought this up, and I was like, wow, I did not even think of that. So we're going to attach the controllers back on.
I'm popping the controllers on both sides. By the way, Lenovo, I've already told this to Lenovo's friendly PR representative here, but the way these controllers attach, the way all Legion Go controllers have attached since the beginning, with this kind of pop it up into place and get these pogo pins to slide along the track, it's just not so intuitive. It's very fiddly. I want something a little bit more like the Nintendo Switch there. I'm hoping.
I mean, the Switch 2 with the magnets, that's all. Like, it literally is just magnets and a little lever. So I will say this is a little bit of an upgrade on this one because the release mechanism is just right here.
It is easier to get the release.
Yeah, the Legion Go.
So much easier.
The Legion Goes has a little button back here, and sometimes that is hard to find. Yeah. So at least the release button is.
With the Legion Go, sometimes I could accidentally push it on like under my pinky, even when I was playing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a couple times in bed, I've been playing the Legion Go 2 or the original Legion Go, and I'd accidentally press that little button with my pinky and be like, "Oh, this is a nice place to rest. That seems nice and fiddly.
What is this thing?"
Yeah. And all of a sudden, like detaches from the tablet. It's not so great. But with this one, with the release button on top, it's pretty easy to pop it out again. It's just putting it back in that's fiddly.
Well,
but anyhow,
I have a question. Could we literally just take the controller off the Legion Go 2 here and place it on this Legion Fold?
No. It's so much. Wait a second. Hold on.
The answer is no.
It's much thinner. The Fold is much thinner, so the rails are also much thinner and a little bit shorter, it looks like here, and a different number of pogo pins, too.
Yeah. So the length is shorter. The number of pogo pins, this one actually has more than the Legion Go.
Was that 8 on the new one? It looks like 8.
8.
Yeah.
It's 8 versus 5. And then it's also thinner. So but I mean, essentially, it's the same kind of thing where it has a groove and little teeth that it's meant to be in. I will say, and I should have said this at the beginning, this is just a prototype. This is not final design. There's a lot that needs to be figured out, but it is fun to see something in this early prototyping phase, not only for us, but Lenovo says like one of the reasons why they do this is, I mean, number one, to get a lot of fun attention like this, but also number two, they're learning constantly about what people like about prototypes. So if you have something that you want to tell Lenovo, get down in the comments. Let them know what you do like or don't like about this prototype, and hopefully, if this becomes a product in the future, then it'll take that feedback into account.
But back to infolding versus outfolding. So once you've got it in your two hands, and I'm like, I can butterfly it, which is cool. It's like I'm squeezing
you're working
a flex
out.
weight here, working out. Yeah. Well, when you're actually holding and playing it, you want the tablet to resist a motion where if you're pulling up on both controllers, if those are holding the weight of the tablet, you don't want it to fold inward while you're doing it.
Exactly.
So if they wanted it to be an infolder, they would need some kind of lock mechanism or something to keep it flat in place here. Even so, there is a little bit of flex out, but again, early prototype.
Yeah. So, I mean, well, hey, this is your first time getting your hands on with it. We have it in the widescreen orientation, so it's completely open, and it is in the normal landscape, I guess is the better terminology. So it's 11.6. It is, what is this?
12?
It is 2435 by 1712, which is 16 by 10. So it is a taller aspect ratio.
Okay, an 11.6 inch.
Yeah. So a little bit of a weird aspect ratio there, but I assume because it's OLED screen that is foldable, and they're having to trim some of the pixels off the end or not account for some of the pixels.
And then if we pull these off, we can put them back in, our tate mode, if you will, for those Ikaruga fans or other classic arcade shooter fans with those vertical screens.
Yeah, it's a Windows device, so it just rotate.
Yeah, can I just do it? Yeah, in fact, let's just show that really quickly here.
Yeah.
So here we've got this beautiful picture of a bird. And then, of course, while the controllers are still attached in tate mode, I think we should be able to flip this screen back in half.
And so the screen is still on, but I believe it should be able to turn the screen off or like deactivate those pixels as well. I don't have the actual screen or pixel count of what that would be, but I'm going to assume it's half of 25 or 2435. So it'll still be 1712. But then it's half of 2435. So whatever that equates to, I'm not good at math.
You're looking at 7.7 inches diagonally if you want to talk about physical size when you've got it squashed in half like this. There's the nice waterfall edge over the top, so you could theoretically have some screen at the top edge giving you, I don't know, alert notifications.
I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if I call that nice though. Like that's I don't know. I feel like if you can cut the screen off where it starts to bend, maybe that would be a little nicer. But like if it's literally going to display something only.
Oh yeah, I mean if
halfway.
we're losing pixels into that window, I don't like that.
Well,
but if it's just like extra area, so you can do hit indicators in games or something.
Yeah.
There used to be with the Galaxy Edge phones back when they did those waterfall things. But of course we're not set up here.
Okay.
Lenovo told us that this screen will have a way in this vertical mode to allow you to do two separate apps. There'll be a multitasking thing, kind of like they did on their vertically extending laptop where the screen like pulls up to become higher. They'll do something like that here too. It's just not implemented.
Yeah, so maybe Discord on the top, and your game on the bottom, something like that.
I would do that. I do that with multi-monitor on my desktop right now.
I will also say the other way that I think Russ was excited about too is that if you have 4x3 content, or so obviously something in Tate mode like arcade or pinball,
any classic game you play on an arcade machine or a CRT, that's where you'll definitely see a lot of that 4.3.
So I do have the Legion Go 2 here. Like I said,
yes.
the screen in this mode is definitely smaller than the Legion Go 2, so you can kind of see that. But the idea is that it's a little bit more of a tablet-like device.
And here's a Legion Go S for comparison.
Yeah.
One thing I really like about the Fold, even though I'm not sure if I'm sold on folding screens in general, is that it makes for a smaller, less bulky handheld than either of these previous Lenovo handhelds. What if we window it, drop it up here, put Shadow of the Tomb Raider at the top or bottom of the screen, and put another thing side by side?
There
we
go.
That could be fun.
So let's accept those changes. Oh, yeah. So I just snapped it via Windows Snap. To say, you got the Xbox app up here, and then that didn't snap very well.
Because Windows Snap will already recognize you want to use the top half or the bottom half of a screen. And so you can do that even without any additional Lenovo
I mean,
tweaks.
now it's this isn't perfect. It's a prototype, but you can kind of see the idea of having two.
And of course, there's actually 3 screens worth of screen here because there's the tiny one in the corner as well.
Yeah, so this one's meant to be either displaying. I mean, you've got CPU usage. It's not actually showing.
This is on
anything.
the right gamepad. It's like right below the ABXY for those of you listening and can't see this yet.
Yeah, they do say that this will have functionality, or theoretically could have functionality to be like a pointer, kind of like the little pads they have on the Legion Go 2
Imagine
already.
a round touchpad, slightly smaller than the big touchpad on the Legion Go 2's right controller, but with a screen built into it, so it can be like, here's your CPU, CPU usage and temperature and little emoji reactions and things like that, date and time. That's what they've got it doing right now.
Yeah,
but it could be a touchpad. It could be more.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, one of the questions I have is who is this for? Because if you are just a handheld gamer, then you're probably just gonna get a handheld, right? I got the Legion Go S right here. That like the actual controls are built in. Like, yes, you could plug this into an external monitor and use this as a daily computer. But the glory of this is that you can just detach those, just like the normal Legion Go 2, and just have a computer.
I think it's for somebody who wants to have what Lenovo offers in many of its prototype products and some of its actual products that come out. They offer this very like portable luxury experience for people who want to set up like a multi-screen workstation where they go and do a bunch of different things on it. We've seen kind of the detachable laptop screens they have had. We've seen, here's the keyboard kind of modularly folds out of that. And this here, you've got your, I want to have my FPS experience on the go when you detach one of these controllers and you drop it on this controller adapter piece here. Remember this?
Yes, FPS mode. So
not only does Lenovo have a triangle for this, so you can snap 2 gamepad pieces together, you can flip it upside down, and it's got the mouse sensor in it. So you drop it on the bottom of the right gamepad here, gamepad half, and this is now your FPS mouse with a huge base that no longer only does one thing. No longer just a piece of plastic like it was in the Legion Go 2 and Legion Go?
Well, no, actually, I think it was a metal base.
Was it a metal
in the
base?
second one?
Okay,
I think the second one did have
and they did add a locking adapter, which I really
the
appreciate.
locking. I mean, it. I don't know. I never used that mode personally. So whatever, take it or leave it, I guess. I think there's some people who do like it out there. The problem I have with this is that, I mean, this is more comfortable than this FPS mode, sure. But for me, the bigger thing is this actually looks like a joystick. Like I want this to be a flight stick. Like I want to pull back on that throttle so bad, but all it's going to do is just snap it off.
When you got the pistol grip on top of the triangle like mouse base, it does seem like it should be able to like flex back and forth and do joystick. Why don't they add that as an additional feature? They could, maybe.
Then I would be in. Because then you say like, put Microsoft Flight Sim on here. You got. I don't have a HOTAS set up at home, so maybe
I have no HOTAS.
Your portable HOTAS.
Yep. The other thing that occurs to me, to answer your question about like who would this be for? One of the things I wrote in my original review of the Legion Go for The Verge is that it's a Swiss Army knife of handheld because it can also be a tablet.
Right.
And the tablet chunk of this looks so much easier to hold, so much less clumsy than the original Legion Go and the Legion Go 2 tablets. It now even has a nice curve built into it for your hand to hold it with. Imagine this as your e-reader.
Yeah, except for, but then you're just resting your hand on the screen, and I think a lot of people would be worried about that.
Would need some palm rejection, some finger rejection.
Well, not even just that, but also the durability of the screen. It's definitely more not as durable as a normal glass screen. Right?
I suppose it's not as durable as a normal glass screen, but like I've used a lot of devices with plastic, and I've spent a lot of time with a Galaxy Flip, not the Fold, but the Flip, the cheaper version, the vertical flipper, and I never felt like I was going to break that screen by pushing on it, by touching it. I only was worried about the hinge, the mechanism of it.
I mean, is there anybody out there who actually does use the Legion Go as just a tablet, though?
That's a great reader question. Listener question, excuse me.
I'm curious. Let me know, because like I feel like this is too bulky to do that. The Fold prototype does feel better in that regard.
I feel like I got to do some web browsing on this now. I'm touching the screen, so it's taking the input.
I think the other part of it is, even if you don't want to hold it like a tablet, you can just put it in. Put the kickstand on, put it down, maybe grab the keyboard, if you don't mind passing the keyboard over.
Yeah, we got other accessories here too. Here's a carrying case, and below it we have a folio, if you will, keyboard folio.
Nice little folio, but the keyboard. So, I could theoretically see somebody set this up and use the Legion Go 2 with a mouse, a keyboard, and work on it. But at the end of the day, that is still a smaller kind of device to mess around with. This, the Legion Fold prototype, which I think snaps in like that, and then just theoretically,
I think I'm forgetting how to.
there's magnets.
There it is. This side. This side has a spot. It's a round hole for the fans. Actually, let's show that real quickly for those of you who are consuming this as a video podcast. There's a vent there surrounded by magnets so that when the folio is on, it doesn't blocking the airflow.
Yeah. So as you can tell, it's a little fiddly, but once again, it's a prototype. And in this mode, even if you do it like this, maybe that's a little bit better.
That seems better.
Yeah. I don't know. There's different ways. This is a much bigger screen. This is 11 inch. This is close to like a normal laptop-ish kind of size.
Yeah. Like
I could actually see myself using this as a work device, and somebody could look at that and just think, oh, okay, that's like an iPad kind of replacement kind of thing. Where I feel like even with this, if you were the Legion Go 2, like this still looks weird. This doesn't look normal, and that screen is way too small to work on. I don't
know how much this costs, but I do wonder if there's somebody out there who's like, I want a foldable, but I don't want it to be my daily driver phone. I would rather it be this, book, this paperback-sized thing that can be a laptop screen, and then a tablet screen that's paperback-sized.
Yeah, I see this more as a laptop that you can use as a handheld, right?
And we've seen a lot of that from some of the boutique handheld makers, like your One X player.
Which, I have the Player X1 over there.
Several devices.
And
that are
this,
to be that.
I can say, despite the fact that it's a prototype, I see the utility more in this than those other ones. And to tell you the truth, those are like a real gamery kind of look. Like this isn't final design. I don't love the pattern on here, but it's a lot more tasteful. It doesn't scream gamer as much as some of those other ones.
It's like subtle Solid Snake Metal Gear camo print.
Metal Gear. I would say even if there's something that I hope gets brought to light out of this, even if this device doesn't come out, this makes me think about something that I turned around on the Legion Go 2 when that came out. Is that if you had a Legion Go 1, you could just buy the Legion Go 2 controllers and put them on, and it changes the experience in my mind, because the failure of the Legion Go 1 was mostly the ergonomics of the controller. So the controller is a big upgrade. So you can put the controller of the 2 on the 1 and get a better experience. Imagine if this was compatible with the Legion Go 2 and you could put this style controller with the bigger grips on the Legion Go 2.
I would like that. I think the Legion Go 2 is big enough of a handheld for me that I'm already not considering taking that in my bag very often. You know, it's not a thing I'm like throwing into an existing backpack. It's like I am going somewhere to play handheld, or I am staying at home to play handheld. And if I'm already don't care that much about how big it is, having more comfortable pistol style grips like this with the prongs.
Looking at the buttons themselves, it looks like the sticks. Do you mind popping this off real quick? I want to do a side by side. It looks like the sticks are the exact same. So you've got that nice little metal ring that gives a nice fluid motion on that. The buttons look a little different. These ones on the fold look a little more rounded on the top, where the original Legion Go 2 buttons are a little flatter. In terms of clickiness, they're actually pretty similar. Maybe this one has a little bit less travel than the Legion Go 2. The extra utility buttons, whatever this hamburger icon and control kind of stuff, like those feel exactly the same. The triggers are definitely different. Which do you like? Do you like the roundedness of this trigger, or the more like ergonomicness of this one? I don't know.
Again, if I'm not throwing in a bag, if I don't need to worry about it like catching on things, I like the more rounded trigger going on here. Even if I'm not thinking of it as a trigger for shooting things, I do prefer how that feels.
Actually, the one downside that I think is probably because it's an early prototype, there is almost no give or click to this shoulder button. Like I like the improved shoulder button on the Legion Go 2 controller. This one barely has a click, but who knows? It's been handled by a lot of sweaty nerds like us, so maybe over time it's just lost it. But I asked Russ if he had any other questions, and he said if it can be closed. That's a big one. Also, how it feels when it's in the expanded vertical mode, so the Tate mode. For the most part, I mean, I think after you bench it, I want to show it again. It is a little top heavy, but it's not bad. It's not like, I mean, I guess, I don't know, maybe after an hour of playing, it would start to get a little bit of wrist strain from going this way, but it's actually not that bad. Most of the weight is still like centered in where you're gripping the device.
I would be if you're concerned about it from like a did they make the right trade-offs here? The trade-off I would be thinking about is battery rather than weight right now, because it is so much thinner and lighter feeling than the previous Legion Goes, which are among the biggest, heaviest handhelds at the 8-inch compared to or your Steam Deck. Your Steam Deck feels fairly light. Your Switch feels very light. A Legion Go feels quite heavy if you've never held one before, and this feels a lot lighter than those. But it is quite thin, and so how much battery do they cram in?
Even though overall, so they're saying the weight is 868 grams.
With everything.
With everything, yeah. So the tablet and the controllers. Let me look at the Legion Go 2. And the weight, if I scroll down, it says 0.92 kilograms or 2 pounds, just over 2 pounds.
So not that much different?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean,
that surprises me.
So this is essentially, almost 0.9. So yeah, technically the Legion Go 2 weighs just a little bit more, but this feels lighter.
It's spread out over so much bigger area.
Yeah. And also I think the pistol grips help with it. Before we get out of here, I've attached the controllers back on there. I'm in Tate mode. Like this definitely is tending to pull towards the top. let's see where it's hard to show where the weight is, but I'm gonna try to balance it here a little bit.
I like that. That's a good test.
Like it definitely is pulling a little bit.
He's resting it on his middle fingers as he's letting like kind of the controllers rotate around his hands and seeing where the balance point might be. And that's
it's not far off. Like especially with the pistol grip. Like it's pushing back against.
So much of the weight is down. It's only this like extension of a flexible tablet that's going north of where your hands are resting. So it's
Yeah, this does not feel unnatural to me.
And again, you can if you don't like how that is, you can flip it down.
There you go. Fold it down.
Oh, can it be its own stand?
Mode. There we go. Maybe it could be its own stand. We found out a new way. There's a fourth way to use it. You just put it down. That is probably not going to work. Well, actually,
if you window it again, drop it in the bottom.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Actually, that's not bad. Anyway, I think we should wrap up this section because Lenovo needs their device back. Unless maybe it just stays here.
Do you? We can. We can take care of this for you, Jeff.
We'll see.
It's okay.
But no, I appreciate getting a quick hands on this. Last question, I guess. Do you think this will actually come out?
Ooh, that's a
We've
tough
seen
one.
a lot of Lenovo prototypes. They love shooting for the moon with their prototypes. Some of them you can tell are closer to market than others. What do you think?
Will they take learnings from this? Absolutely. I think we've already been very clear they should take the pistol grips out of this and some other FPS mode features. But the foldable screens. If this had been a week ago and Samsung hadn't just canceled, discontinued the Galaxy Trifold after only 3 months on the market, during which it was incredibly difficult to buy one, I might be more optimistic. But now that we are in the era of everything's getting more expensive because RAM, and Lenovo has so many amazing prototypes, it can't build all of them. I don't know if this is actually coming out.
Yeah, in this form, I'm going to say this isn't coming up. Maybe in a couple years' time, we will see this resurface as a different device, But I don't know. I do think they will learn stuff. I think for the handheld gaming side, I would love to see controllers that attach to the Go 2 that have the pistol grip option, or even the Go S maybe have a little bit more of a pistol grip option. And then on the tablet side, I think we're going to see some sort of non-gaming branded tablet in this form factor. Lenovo already has the X1 Fold. Why not have another folding option out there?
That seems more likely to me.
The tablet itself feels really well done. This does not feel like a prototype. The tablet itself, it's mostly the controllers and the connection, and obviously the software. But that's something.
If they can find out a way to sell this to like deep-pocketed, professionals who need the foldable tablet, who really want that foldable tablet, and then also, and by the way,
it can
add these controllers, and you can do that.
It's an alluring proposition. It's kind of like eGPUs, the proposition of having one device that you take at home and then you plug it in and you've essentially made a second device.
Love the idea.
Anyway, that's it with the Legion Go 2. Let's take a quick break and we'll be back after these messages. So news. Let's get to some news topics. I contributed to one. You actually have a couple that's interesting. Let's get to the breaking thing that I just barely found out before we started recording, which was seems to be a leak of a unnamed Anbernic device with a rotating screen.
Roll the clip.
Yeah, you showed this to me. I had a couple questions, but first off, what do you think of this device?
So do you remember phones with swiveling screens like this?
Oh, of course. Yeah, the Sidekick.
The C-Mobile Sidekick. Okay, so my dad, I haven't told many people this, my dad worked on the factory programmer for the T-Mobile Sidekick, which is not the most glamorous thing in existence. This is how they put the bits onto the phones at the factory, that kind of thing.
That's pretty cool, okay.
But he made sure that I had access to these very cool phones when I was growing up.
Lucky.
And so I took all of my college notes and many of my high school notes on a T-Mobile Sidekick. I did not have to use handwriting, which is probably one of the reasons my handwriting is still so terrible today.
Okay. I don't have that excuse.
And I love these to death, and I love the sound they make when they flick out. There's chunk.
Oh, yeah.
And I have no idea what this one sounds like, and so that is the most important thing, and unless I know that this sounds amazing, who cares?
True, yeah. We got to know. I mean, there's not much information. This appears to be a leak. I guess my second question is, do you think this is credible?
I mean, I think that it's probably planted because you were telling me a moment ago the way that this guy, whoever's filming this, is wandering around what appears to be the inside of a Chinese Anbernic place.
Yeah.
But the device looks like a real thing, right? I don't think AI generated that. I think they've established that they're in a location and this is.
I mean, they love to release devices for sure. But I feel like a lot of the leaks are from people like on maybe the assembly line or something being like, oh, hey, you know what? I'm going to get a quick video of this kind of thing. And this kind of started like that a little bit. And then, it quickly cut to, I'm also have my camera out where everyone can see and just shooting around inside the office and like literally showing people's desks. Like, so either he just didn't know how to be discreet and immediately was like caught and being like, what are you doing? And I was like,
he's with the cops now. They're slamming him in jail as we speak.
Yeah.
No.
Or it was an inside job.
It feels like a skit.
Yeah.
It feels like a skit.
Yeah.
We're watching a skit. Great
the
lighting.
gauging interest.
Some of the best lighting I've seen for a leak in a while. I think gauging interest would be a good thing for them to do. As you and Russ may have discussed on this podcast not that long ago, the Ramageddon that's going on right now, they need to be a little bit choosier about how many devices these handheld companies release. Maybe that's a good thing. It's probably a good idea to gauge interest first.
I mean, so for people who can't see the video, it appears to be a squarish kind of screen that flips out a keyboard, or not a keyboard, a
3-inch
control
square,
pad.
maybe 4.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
That's Anbernic's typical size.
And it flipped out.
Yeah, so the top of the square, if you'll imagine, just rotates clockwise, like you're slicing the entire top off the square and then rotating that around clockwise, so it comes off of the top of the controls, which are normally completely hidden by this rotating lid, and then the rest of it's above the screen is above your controls at that point.
Yeah, so it vaguely Game Boy-ish. I have wondered that with this Ramageddon, Rampocalypse, however you want to call it, that a lot of these companies would actually go back to serving the kind of the more easy to emulate stuff. Because if back in the day, when I started looking at these devices, like these were devices that barely could play SNES sometimes. It was just like, nah, we're really just looking at NES or Game Boy kind of quality. And then, they started getting more powerful, needing more RAM. So I do wonder if maybe they'll go backwards and be like, actually, I know we've been able to serve a higher market, do more emulation, but what if this new device only just really emulated through SNES really well?
I wouldn't hate it. Like, I have an RG34XX. I was planning to talk about it a little later, in fact. And I want it for Game Boy games. It looks like a Game Boy Advance in this case. It's the purple taco. And I want it to play Game Boy games, and I don't mind if it plays other games of that era, your SNES, your Genesis, and so on. But I'm not really looking to that tiny portable handheld where I've got like a little bit of time to play a game. I'm not really looking to that for N64. I'm not looking to that for Dreamcast. Certainly not looking to for anything crazy beyond that. When I want to kick back with those other kinds of games, I kind of want to do it in a more traditional couch environment anyhow. I'm not everybody, though.
True. Yeah. I mean, same thing for me. I will say the one thing, if they're watching and they're looking for feedback, I would say this thing does not look comfortable to hold. Like ergonomics, probably not where this thing's going to shine.
I feel like I would say that about any handheld that has. True. This one does not have joysticks at the bottom, but any of their handhelds that have the joysticks at the very bottom lip of a handheld, which they keep releasing, people seem to like this idea. I prefer the ones that do not have joysticks down there.
Yeah. So we'll see if this is indeed real. How soon do you think we'll get some information?
Oh, I don't know what their release cadence is like in
every
Ramageddon era. But I would think that if there is strong interest, they'll want to capitalize on that soon. They don't want you to forget about it. They'll want to do a video on their YouTube channel. They'll want to get people excited.
They don't want other companies to hurry and steal the idea. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, we will see. Check back. Maybe we'll have more thoughts on it when Russ is back. The next one is another one you put in here. It's about Switch 2 enabling Switch 1 game dock performance while in Switch 2 portal mode.
So I got unreasonably excited about this because I read the story completely wrong when I first saw
What'd you
the
think it
update
was?
notes. I thought this was the Switch 2 getting the TV mode boost, the amount of extra horsepower, the extra wattage, DLSS, whatever it's adding when you connect the TV dock for every game. For every Switch game, Switch 2, Switch 1, everything, so that when you play, I don't know, Cyberpunk 2077 on this handheld, you're not getting quite the same experience you do when you're getting it up on the TV. It looks better in the TV, right?
If you only have the Switch 1 version. I mean, I guess same for the Switch 2, but yeah.
Even in the Switch 2, I feel like you get some extra boost, right?
True.
And so, the Fox, we both know, has done a lot of wattage testing, power testing with Switch 2 docked versus undocked. It's like, that's a different experience.
Oh, yeah.
When the Switch 2 is docked, you're talking about a system that has maybe like closer to Steam Deck power, whereas when you're not, you're like, oh yeah, the Steam Deck wins. It's just the Switch is more efficient. It's a big difference between those two things. So I thought this was that. Instead, it is something that is less holistically exciting, but still pretty cool. It is that Switch 1 games can now run faster at higher resolution than they necessarily could before without waiting for their developers to patch them. So a game like Mario Odyssey, a Switch 1 game, Nintendo has already patched that. If you run that game on the Switch 2, it's now smoother, it's faster, it looks better on a Switch 2 than it does on Switch 1, regardless of whether you're docked or not. But other games are not like this.
And regardless if you bought a Switch 2 upgrade. Because some games like Animal Crossing, only the Switch 2 upgrade gets enhanced graphics and not frame rate, whatever. But
yeah, and so that's an extra cost. But this is for free. It's a free update version, like 22 or something like that, of the Switch 2 firmware. When you do that and then you dive into the settings, it's pretty buried in there. It's like you scroll all the way down the settings to like system, and then deep in that, another scroll, there's like this Nintendo like Switch software compatibility label. It doesn't even sound like anything, but you go inside there and there is a handheld boost mode, and you turn that on, and all of a sudden you're playing Smash Brothers Ultimate, or you're playing Fire Emblem Three Houses, which are games that look a little rough in handheld mode. All of a sudden they are crisper, they are more beautiful.
And that's because the Switch 1 handheld was 720p, and so docked it would do 1080p. So here Switch 2 has an internal screen of 1080p, so they're like, why not run it in quote unquote docked mode?
Yeah.
Is this for every game?
It's not for every game because there may have been some compatibility issues. So I think Nintendo is like whitelisting or blacklisting some titles in there. I don't know the details of that, but it does say in the notes that some games may not see this boost. Originally, I interpreted that to mean, well, you're not going to see a boost if your game was already updated by Nintendo. I didn't see a boost in Mario Odyssey. But it's possible. I've also heard about some games that have glitches because of this, and so it's possible that they've already identified some games that have glitches because of this, and are just like, no, we're going to blacklist those.
Because didn't the same thing happen? Wasn't that the case when the PS4 Pro came out? You could technically run some of the PS4 games like better. I don't remember the details,
something
but
like that.
It wasn't all the games. And some games had issues because of it, and then put a little asterisk.
Yeah, and so one thing that happened in that era with the PS4 versus PS4 Pro, PS5 Pro is what we found is game developers that basically built their games around unlocked frame rate and are like, we're just going to let you increase the frame rate of the game, and we're just going to let the game run as fast as it can run on a PS4. Well, now, of course, it can run faster on a PS4 Pro with no changes. Same with PS5 Pro versus PS5. But not all game developers build their games that way. And some game developers, especially when you go back into earlier eras of gaming, you go back to SNES and things like that, they are relying on the games, on the hardware to be a certain way, to run its commands.
It's a fixed platform. I mean, that's why the console has had a relative dominance, right? It's a fixed platform for a fixed cost. Well, back in those days, and something, the developers would get to be able to target that. And now it's more PC-like, which I'm glad to have more options, but some
as a
people
PC gamer, I love this idea. I can't wait for the next Xbox to play, PC games as well as Xbox games. But yeah, when you don't have that fixed platform, you can't rely on everything to be there exactly the same way every time. So I don't remember which game it was that glitched, but I did hear in a Reddit thread that Astral Chain is finally now much more playable.
Oh,
and,
cool.
Fire Emblem Three Houses is one that people had been like, this is a little bit choppy here and there. Apparently that's better now too.
Okay.
I took a couple screenshots on the verge of a Smash Brothers, and I was like, oh yeah, this looks better.
Yeah, I'll link down to this article that you put in here from your coworker Emma Roth down in the description if people want to read more about it. But I think the last point for me is that this doesn't feel really Nintendo-like. Nintendo usually doesn't come out and like give you stuff for free that's like, this just feels not Nintendo-like, right?
It's a little bit weird to me that of all the companies that, have like created the moat, have created the walled garden, and that they would be the ones to do something like this, but I really welcome it. I like that everything's becoming a little bit more open. And I do think it's fascinating that this is coming at the same exact time that we're seeing other platform holders ship big updates that just unlock more functionality. We've got another one we're going to talk about in a moment with the PlayStation Portal, not portable, PlayStation Portal. And then the PS5 Pro just got that big PSSR update, so those games look crisper now.
Well, hey, maybe it'll be a number of years before there's a new console, so they got to do something to appease the people who have the consoles already. Let's move over to the next one. So, like you mentioned, the PSP. Just kidding. The PlayStation.
Why did you do
Portable?
That?
No,
don't do that.
The PlayStation Portal got an update. So Portal. I have a Portal. Do you have a Portal?
I was going to ask you about this. I do not have a Portal.
Oh, okay.
I've actually not really used a Portal very much. They did not send us one, I think because we were very skeptical of it with its first initial set of offerings. It was just going to be like, here is your in-home streamer for the console that's plugged into your TV, which honestly you can do really well with any other handheld that is a PC, including the Steam Deck. I use a Steam Deck as my PlayStation Portal. But then they started updating it with other things, PlayStation Cloud games, higher resolution, and now higher bitrate. Yeah,
so this update essentially is for specifically the cloud streaming stuff, unlocking higher bit rates and streaming options. I guess my next question for you is, are you a PlayStation Plus subscriber?
I am not.
Okay, well then, guess what? You wouldn't have, even if you had a Portal, you wouldn't have been able to take advantage of this. And it's not only all PlayStation Plus. I mean, it's not all PlayStation Plus subscribers get access to. It's the cloud is only locked under the premium one. So the most expensive tier option gets the ability to do the cloud stuff, which is not just for the Portal. You can also do cloud stuff on the PS5, I guess, if you wanted to. But
I don't think I would. I want to ask you more about what it's like using a PlayStation Portal, how much you do that, and where you position it versus your other handhelds. Is this where you want to spend your time? But for me, I've spent a lot of time with cloud streaming, and one of the prerequisites for me with cloud streaming is not just high bit rate. That's very important, but resolutions higher than the screen that I am playing it on.
So it can downsample.
Exactly. The downsampling is so incredibly important for me with things like GeForce Now, because when you have a game streaming over to a screen at its native resolution, so much visual artifacting comes along for the ride. It's so much harder to see things in the distance the way that I'd like to because of that. And when you're instead streaming a 4K stream down to your 1080p screen or your 720p screen, that magically clears up. In GeForce Now, it's an option that you have to set pretty manually. It's not intuitive right away, but I recommend everybody do that if you're streaming that to a handheld. Portal, though, tell me, do you love this device?
I was not planning on getting one. The idea of just playing a PS5 game on a singular device like that is like, okay, there's other ways I could do that if I wanted to. But I did find a really good open box deal at Best Buy. Oh. And I don't remember the price, unfortunately, off the top of my head. Maybe I should look this up.
$97.
I don't remember, to tell you the truth. But it was enough where I was like, okay, I'm curious. I want to see how this is. So I guess I should couch this by saying I don't play a lot of PlayStation anyway. So I think that's the hard part for me, is that I have all the consoles, sure. The Xbox Series X is not hooked up at all anymore at this point. It's just gathering dust somewhere. I did upgrade to a PS5 Pro, but I only really play exclusive games. And then, they started releasing them on PC, but usually there's a delay. It's not day and date. So a lot of time, like Death Stranding 2, like, yes, the PC version just came out, but I was excited to play that one. So I did play that on PS5.
I waited for the PC version.
Yeah. So Ghost of Yotai, or Yotai, however you pronounce it. That one was another one where I was like, okay, I'll dust off the old PS5 Pro and give it a go.
It's already old. What are you doing, Sony?
Yeah, right. The way I always saw it is the way I do handheld gaming anyway, which is in my living room, my wife and I only have one TV that we share. And for the most part, she would like to watch something and I would like to game. So that's how I do my handheld gaming, is we're both on the couch spending quality time together, in air quotes. She's watching something, I'm gaming. And if I want to play something on the PS5, then I have to eat into that time, which, I mean, I'm not saying she's draconian. It's not like she's like, no, it's more like, oh, hey, are you done playing this game? I want to watch my thing.
You are practically describing my evening situation to a T, with the exception that my wife is also on a handheld. Her handheld is the Switch 2. And she's playing Pokopia. Not Poketopia, as we constantly say to each other, but Pokemon Pokopia.
We'll get to that in a second.
And Animal Crossing and games on her phone and so on and so forth. But she, much more than me, is a fantastic multitasker. She can actually, I think, do two things at the same time. Boggles my mind. And I'm like kind of listening to the program on TV while I am playing. If it's a program that I really love, I probably put the handheld down and I watch it directly because I'm not so good at multitasker. Yeah. But yeah, that's where I'm getting my Hollow Knight Silk Song time in and things like that.
So that's where the not portable
PlayStation Portal, not to be confused with the Facebook Portal device.
Oh, well, I wasn't thinking of that one either. So that's where the Portal comes in. Is that it was really nice to be able to stream to the handheld when I wanted to play a PlayStation 5 exclusive game, but I didn't want to take up the TV with it. And yes, there are other ways to play or stream games to your handheld, but man, that controller feels exactly like the PS5 controller, but just with a screen in the middle. So like we were looking at the Legion Fold kind of thing, and you were saying how much you really appreciate having those handle grips. That's like, I can't get handle grips on another handheld like the Legion Go 2, whatever, that feel like the PlayStation 5. Even the Xbox Ally X, while that feels closer to an Xbox controller, doesn't feel like an Xbox controller. This literally is the PS5 controller on a handheld. So if you like ergonomics on your handhelds,
I love ergonomics in my handhelds, but you know what's even more comfortable than a DualSense controller?
What?
It's a Steam Deck with jury-rigged gyro aiming. So I bake gyro aiming into Chiaki, and now I can aim that bow in the game just by tilting. Even if the developer of the game did not have that feature in there, it's in there now because my gyro is emulating a joystick, and it's wonderful. Okay. But how reliable is the streaming on your PlayStation Portal? Because I will tell you that Chiaki takes a lot of trial and error for me to get very, very reliable streaming out of it.
So unfortunately, I live in a very crowded apartment complex. So it's one of those things of your mileage is going to vary depending on where you're living. So I can only speak to my situation, which is a crowded environment. I tried to do things like be early adopters onto do Wi-Fi technology because, spoiler, that's usually one of the best ways to get around it in a crowded space. Of like, oh, I'm the only one who bought a Wi-Fi 7 router, so sweet. I get free access to that spectrum because nobody else is on it because nobody buys the new stuff. Anyway, side point. So even with trying to get around being in that space, and also I actually don't wire my PS5 up either. That
was my next question.
So my router's in the office. It has walls that are cutting it off. Going to the PS5, it's going from the PS5 to the Portal. Even with that said, I've had some good experiences. It's not perfect, but for the most part, it's been playable.
Would you play a Souls on there? Would you play Demon's Souls on there?
I
Or
mean,
you're gonna be
I
like,
would-
I'm
I
going to
would-
die, I'm going to lose all
Well,
my
I would
all my
play
souls.
it. I'm not good at those games anyway, so I'm not really. I'm not a Twitch person. Like, and I'm also not hyper competitive. So like, I don't know. I would try it out. I mean, I guess I can for science if
Yeah,
if you want me
okay.
to. Let's say so. I did play a lot of Ghost of Yote on it. Because that was one of the last ones. Death Stranding, I did a lot too. I mean, Death Stranding doesn't require a lot of.
Anything where you've had to parry attacks?
I mean, Ghost of Yote.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you can parry attacks over streaming, then that sounds pretty good to me.
But also, I mean, in the settings, I'm also playing on like easy mode so that it's like the attack window is like bigger. So I don't know. Once again, I think at the end of the day, it still matters like what your network is. Like I bet theoretically it's really good. But if you have a crap environment, then it's just going to be a bad experience.
Yeah.
So luckily, I've had a good experience with it. But that's just streaming from the PS5. So I have not been a subscriber to PlayStation Plus for many years. But when this update hit yesterday and I got pinged by it, I actually did go update the device. And I was like, all right, for science, I'm going to get a month of PlayStation Plus Premium, whatever the cloud streaming one is. So I did a little bit of cloud streaming yesterday on this device, and I was pleasantly surprised. Let's say I have since upgraded my network to a mesh system, so it's Wi-Fi 7 but mesh networking. So I am getting a better signal than I was even in the past.
Mesh hops with streaming. That's risky business there.
Hey, I mean, like once again, it's better than being on the crowded networks. So
Plug in your PS5 though. Ethernet to your PS5. I'm sure that will.
I mean, it won't help with the cloud, but
Oh no, not for that. I suppose.
So
yeah.
The one weird thing I will say, because I only had limited time, and I only played a couple games. One of them being Arc Raiders, which I play a lot. I've been playing Arc Raiders a lot on GeForce Now on my various Windows device or even SteamOS devices. So the like quality, once again, I don't want to say definitively because it's my scenario, but like they look good in different ways. They broke down in different ways, but really it's where they had connection issues where it kind of differed. Where GeForce Now, if you lose connection or not lose connection, or if your connection is spotty and you start to lose stuff, you literally just lose frames. Like it's very like, oh, it's 1 frame every 2 seconds kind of thing. At least in my experience.
Is that what you're saying now?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the PlayStation Portal last night when I was doing it, and I did run into whatever network issue, it didn't get that choppy. It lowered the resolution real far down, which I think it honestly is better.
Now used to do the variable resolution as its fallback too. So, but maybe. I think you actually, maybe you can turn that on off now. They may have changed it so it's optional, so you can choose where you want to sacrifice in the case of a drop.
True. Okay,
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe I have it set wrong in GeForce Now, but either way, like it was nice to be able to continue to play, albeit it was a lower frame rate, but also, and the resolution was really crushed, but at least I could be like, oh, okay, you know what? I have a hatch key. I'm going to get out real quick,
Yeah.
But on the GeForce Now, I have had plenty of times where I ran into some connection issue, and then like it finally comes back, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm dead.
How claustrophobic and like pressured do you feel playing an extraction shooter on a handheld over streaming? Because that's one category where I'd be like, God, no. I want the big screen. I want my situational awareness. This is a place that I don't find myself doing handheld gaming, is in games that are where I find it that tense. Mind you, I haven't played much Arc Raiders, but I'm playing Marathon right now. I played a ton of PUBG, which is an extraction shooter, battle royale, but same kind of vibe to it. You need that situational awareness. Your head's on a swivel. Like, I feel like I can't put my head on a swivel with the handheld. Does that work differently for you?
Like it's been for the past couple of months, I've been playing at least 1 or 2 rounds of Arc Raiders every night before I go to bed, and it's always on the handheld. Almost always on the handheld.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
But also, I am not a competitive person. So I get into the nice lobbies. I'm doing my missions. I'm doing my checklists. Like, oh, hey, I'm trying to find blueprints, whatever. So like I'm not playing competitive. Like I said, I'm not a competitive person. If somebody shoots at me, I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Shoot at me. Have fun. And I did try some Marathon, even on handheld, despite performance, not being great. that is where you need to be more competitive. So like, yeah, it wasn't as enjoyable. So I guess the way I treat Arc Raiders is not as stressing.
Maybe I need to try some Arc Raiders.
Yeah, it's more
plenty
chill.
Stressed by the other ones.
Well,
so.
it depends on how you play it. Once again, like Will Smith, my colleague, like he every night he plays and he just goes in and intentionally tries to pick fights. I never pick fights. So yeah, that depends. I mean, at the end of the day, does this change how I think if I think somebody should buy a PlayStation Portal? No, because that's a lot to ask to get a Portal and also have PlayStation Plus Premium on top of that to get access to this cloud stuff. Like, that's not a selling feature to me.
Has the Portal been hacked yet in any appreciable way so you can run emulators on it?
It has. Actually, I should ask Russ if he knows more about this. I have looked into it, but this was a while ago. And the problem is that it barely has any onboard storage, and like it is still a pretty low powered chip comparatively. So yes, it has been, but what performance you can get out of it, like what you can actually do out of it, is still not worth it because it's still expensive.
I know they tried to hit a very low price point for Sony anyhow on this thing, but I wish it had been maybe a little more future proofing in there, because you look at what happened with the Vita and you look at what happened with the 3DS now. 3DS prices are insane now, because you can do so much with them once they get hacked. I was playing some Virtual Boy recently on a rooted 3DS, and it's probably the best way to play Virtual Boy games, even including.
Well, I've got the new one right over there.
Well, show it to me. I'll tell you if it's better than what I've been doing at home. But yeah, so 3DS. If Portal maybe had a little bit more in there.
I don't know, but if I had to hazard a guess, Sony got burnt real bad with people hacking the PSP. That they were like, oh, when we do this, we're like, this is the way around people hacking it and using it for other means and not buying games through a service, is to limit, what you can actually do with it.
I guess, but we're going to get a PS6 handheld at some point, right? Or PS5 handheld?
Well, I mean, because from what I've heard, at least it seems like it sold better than they expected. And it is still $200. So let's see, is there any, I'm trying to find if there's any,
Open box
listed. Yeah. So open box, they have like 147.
I could see picking one up at 100. I could pick one up at 100.
I think if I were to remember correctly, I think I got mine for like 125. And I was like, okay, that's worth. But also, we're in this space. I felt like I needed to kind of know how it was anyway.
If I didn't have a Steam Deck, I'd feel a little bit differently about it.
I don't know. I don't know if I could like recommend this to anybody unless you got the money to burn. I have a family member who like is fine to spend money. They have 2 TVs in their living room. They have 2 PlayStation 5s, and I'm just like, all right, cool. And he's like, yeah, I got a Portal. And I was like, really? Okay. Do you like it? And he's like, yeah, nah, whatever. I have the money. So I was like, okay. So, but if you're tight on cash, no, I would say not. But yeah, I'm curious to see. I actually don't even know if Russ has one. I bet not. If
really?
I had to guess.
I feel like he must have everything sitting around somewhere.
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe not. It's one of those ones where Sony saw what people were saying, that this looks like it's too little, too late, not enough features for money, and I think they didn't want to send them out broadly to journalists. I think they were kind of fine just being like, this will find the people who want it. And apparently it did. I mean,
kind of like VR2, right? As well. So
before Meta decided to rebrand its company. Right?
Yeah. Okay, now let's move over to a little section we like to call "What's in Your Pocket." And Russ, this is about stuff we've been messing around with. Could be hardware, could be software on that hardware. I have a couple things, but you brought something with you. I'm very curious. I did not
realize it didn't need to be a handheld, so I brought a handheld. I brought the Game Bub.
Well, I mean, it needed to be handheld.
It needed to be handheld.
It's still Expedition handheld. That's what we do here.
Not just handheld by virtue of it fits in my hand, but actually,
okay.
Okay, so this is the Game Bub.
I have never seen this.
You've never seen this?
Game Bub. Like, so it's made by the famous cat, Little Bub. R.I.P.
No. This is made by a Googler, actually, named Eli Lipsitz, whose last name I probably just mispronounced. As far as I can tell, completely on his own. It is an FPGA handheld Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color. It takes actual cartridges. They both fit in the back. This one I've got here is completely transparent.
I love a transparent plastic.
Yeah. It has 2 batteries in there.
I know,
there
yeah.
are 2 lithium-ion packs in the back of this
they don't look
thing.
glued in?
No, they're completely loose right now.
Yeah.
So easily replaceable if you want to. I think they're on standard, is it JIS connect? Whatever the standard connectors are for small batteries of that kind.
Yeah.
Please start it up. I have Golden Sun in there right now. I'm actually playing through Golden Sun and Pokemon Silver on this with my kid for the first time, my 9-year-old who just loves everything Pokemon. And of course, because my 9-year-old loves everything Pokemon and I wanted to get her into some really good JRPGs that are not Pokemon for once, I was like, well, I've got this other game where you collect monsters in the field and they've got like magical abilities. And so I got her into Golden Sun, which is in my understanding, the best Game Boy game ever made. Certainly the best Game Boy Advance game ever made. Sorry, Metroid Fusion, which is also great.
Wow.
Sorry.
That's a bold claim. Aria of Sorrow?
Aria of Sorrow is great.
One of the best, if not the best.
There are so many good games on Game Boy Advance, but Golden Sun, I bought a Game Boy Advance for Golden Sun after seeing in a magazine, I think it was EGM, what Golden Sun could do. And I don't know if we'll be able to show any of this, but in the battle system for this game, there's like this pseudo 3D effect going around where the camera spins around whips around the characters. Let's talk about hardware first. So this device before we get into Golden Sun, so it takes an SD card as well. You can just use ROMs if you want, but you can use the genuine cartridges.
Micro SD card right there.
Micro SD card right there. It has a horizontal layout. I don't love how it feels right now. The D-pad needs work. The buttons need work.
It's a little mushy.
This shell right here, what do you think this is made of?
Oh, I mean, just by how it's hitting the light, it looks like it's printed.
This is 3D printed. Yeah. It's very well 3D printed.
For 3D printing, that is really good.
But this is 3D printed right now. So this is completely open source. So he is releasing all the CAD files, everything you would need to build one of these, but he's also making them.
And you bought this from him?
Did not buy it. He sent this to me for my Today I'm Toying with videos, where I toy with cool gadgets. Instagram and TikTok, I'm not going to plug myself too much, but they're Verge stuff right now. So,
and does he send it in pieces?
No, he sent me the whole thing together.
So it's
theoretically I could though, and I actually want him to send me the shell CAD so I can print a new back shell for this with larger grips. Imagine if you had a Game Boy Advance that you could customize to your own hands so that it is as comfortable, as big or small as you want it to be. All of my friends are constantly saying, oh, that Game Boy was too big for me. That one was too small for me.
The SP was really small.
SP is really tiny. The micro is ridiculously tiny. Some people are not, even with a full Game Boy, the full original DMG, some people are like, that's too small for me now with my adult hands. Yeah. Well, imagine if you could make one exactly as big as you want it to be.
That's a good idea.
And then just put these parts in there. And so the FPGA, it is not 100% there in terms of like there are no graphical glitches, there are no compatibility issues. I found some when I was playing some games here. Like in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, there were weird like dots appearing on the screen. But Eli is so responsive that I told him about this, and a day later he said, this is exactly what is happening. This is why it's not working. Here is the page of memory that wasn't loaded properly or something like that. He showed me before and after screenshots, and he said, here, download this and fix it. It's patched now.
So what is the software running on this?
I don't remember actually what software is running on this, but
it's not Android based.
I don't believe it's Android based.
Is it Linux? Or is it something custom?
It
looks really custom.
We're gonna have to look at it. It's certainly the interface is custom.
And he's the one who developed the software as well.
I believe he's done all of it. I could be wrong about the software.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to say something wrong on air. I will say though that not only has he created this device to be its enclosed thing where it does all this. By the way, it does have a
Yeah,
Does have
the link cable
port,
yeah.
the Game Boy Advance version of it, and it also
headphone jack,
has
courageous headphone jack.
a special port right there.
Is that what that is? I thought that was like a speaker or a grill.
This is for custom add-ons.
grill.
So if you want to develop your own custom add-ons, there's extra pinout here. And so he's like, somebody could develop the Boktai solar sensor, and then you could play Boktai with solar power, the way it was meant to be played, which you unfortunately cannot do right now with this because it is as tall as a Game Boy cartridge. The Game Bub is as tall as a Game Boy cartridge. The solar sensor doesn't actually shine through. You can't see through the so you would need an extra thing there. But in addition to that, while he was at it, he was like, well, I'm already developing this custom open source handheld. It'll play cartridges, it'll play ROMs. What if I could also let you dump your games and your saves? And so it's not on board right now, but if you plug it into a PC, this can double as like your GB operator and pull your games and your saves off.
Dang.
It's a little expensive.
It looks like $270.
I think it may be. Is it $270 now?
Yeah, purchasing options $270.
That's actually a little less than I thought. I thought it was more than anyhow. $270. It's a little bit. It's more than a Mod Retro Chromatic if you're looking at FPGA Game Boys, but this one, Game Boy Advance, not just color and Game Boy like the Chromatic, and people have very strong feelings about Mod Retro.
Yes,
for
good reasons.
Lots of reasons that we will not spend the next hour discussing on the podcast. And if you're looking for something that is not that, but that is an FPGA Game Boy that actually plays real cartridges, this is that thing. There is also a docking station that you can buy for this thing. You can plant it into the HDMI dock. The HDMI dock has Bluetooth, so you can hook up a wireless controller to it. The moment you drop it on the cradle, it'll immediately pop up HDMI to the TV. With my TV and my receiver, there is no sound output yet. He is troubleshooting that with me. Hopefully we can make that work. Both my receiver and my Samsung OLED are not doing it for some reason. I think maybe there might be a thing where it's looking for Atmos, but it's actually something else.
Some decoding.
When I plug it into a monitor, though, with 2.1 and a headphone jack, I get audio out. So there is audio. It's just not working with my combination of receiver and TV at the moment.
I mean, but to be fair, do you play a lot of your Game Boy Advance games on the TV?
I don't, but one of the reasons I am using this is to share it with my kids. I want to share Golden Sun with my kids. I want to share Pokemon with my kids. So now, instead of playing Pokemon Silver on this right now, I am playing Pokemon Silver on a Nintendo 64 Game Boy cartridge adapter hooked up to Pokemon Stadium 2 on an analog 3D routed out to my TV over HDMI. And so that's
analog 3D is nice. Yeah.
I wish the N64 Game Boy player worked for more than the Pokemon games. I think there was one other. Would Perfect Dark do something maybe? But anyhow, it's lovely. It needs some physical work on like fit and finish and feel, but this is super cool.
I mean, and the fact that this is open source, like it means a lot, right? Like I feel like Analog has gotten a lot of pushback of like, they were like, oh yeah, FPGA, it's open. And I mean, it's open, depending on the device, it's open and you can do stuff, but it's also
open.
Yeah. It's not that
open.
Despite FPGA open on the Analog Pocket.
At least there, they partially filled the problems. With the Analog 3D, they're like, we're not focused on that. We want to give you N64 games the way they were meant to be played, and that's it.
So this is really cool to have an option that's like, hey, you know what? It's maybe there's a little bit of jank, but this is a fun project and it's completely open. I'm curious, like, do you know if there's other people going hog wild with this, either printing stuff or doing separate software things to it?
Yeah, I want to know. I do know that.
Like maybe there's a fork of the Game Bub where it's doing something wild.
He's deep enough into the community that he knows all of the right open source game like demos and what is the word for homebrew?
Homebrew.
Okay. There's a specific word for the homebrew community around Game Boy as well. I can't remember what it is. Anyhow, homebrew games. He shipped so many awesome homebrew games on this that I had never heard of, never played, that are fantastic. There's this one called Skyland that I was playing for the first time the other day. So there's also Celeste Classic on here. A lot of people know Celeste. I believe started as a homebrew thing. But Skyland here is this game where you're like building up a flying pirate airship out of blocks. and each of the blocks has like a function. Like some of them will like shoot missiles and cannons at the other shields, and then will repair the ship. It's a beautiful little homebrew game that I started playing just on a whim. I was like, oh, I need to see what's been loaded on here. You loaded some things. I wonder what that is. I booted up. I'm like, I could just keep playing this for the next 8 hours. I don't really need to be doing anything else or exploring anything else that is in this handheld or even plugging in a cartridge right now. I'll just play this homebrew game for a while. And then I booted up another one of the homebrew games, and it was the same thing. It was like, oh, this is really good. Somebody decided to preload only good, free homebrew software on this, in addition to all of the cartridges and other things I can use.
Dude, that's cool. It does make me want to go out and pick one up and support this, because I love that idea.
And good luck finding a Game Boy with this much battery life. I think he advertises like
14 hours.
Yeah, 14 hours.
Rechargeable over USB-C.
Yep. And charge while you dock it if you buy the dock.
Jeez, yeah. I mean, and the fact that you can swap this out. I mean, if you want to upgrade it, do you know if the screen is attached? Like, could you update the screen to? I mean, it says it's listed as an LCD.
I believe it plugs in as opposed to being soldered, but I don't actually.
I guess I should have said this earlier.
You got a screwdriver? We can open it up.
Sure. This is a 4-inch LCD, 720 by 480. So original.
The screen is not, at least in this model, is not the highest quality screen I've used. I will say that it's. Colors are a little off. It's, I would love to have something way higher quality than this. Let's open up our Mako kit from iFixit. Okay, what else is holding?
Maybe your cartridge. Do you have to take the cartridge out?
That might be a smart idea.
Oh, yep, there you go.
Okay.
Look at that. And it just fell right all the shoulders. Yeah.
Okay.
Man, that thing really is just open.
Okay.
What's the speakers like?
And can I
mean, we can't turn it up here.
Oh, I got a new screwdriver again. Speakers also not great. Like a lot of the fit and finish stuff is very early.
Do you know if he plans on having like V2 redesigns?
I think he's still working on the V1. So this. I should say this is effectively a prototype.
Oh, really?
So it's not. This is, if anything that we're seeing right now is not.
Well, so you're saying if somebody were to go out and
we got a ribbon
now,
in there. See, we got a ribbon with a ZIF connector.
Okay.
So
nice.
Not too bad. And everything is falling out of this. So I'm going to put it back together later.
Do that. Yeah,
you didn't make me do it. I suggested it. I suggested it, and I stick by it.
That's fine. We're doing it live here.
I love taking things apart and putting them back together. So if we can just you want to flick that ZIF for me.
Yeah. I don't want to break it. There you go. You got it.
Okay. So there is. Wow.
Is it a magnet?
I think those are the speakers.
I think the speakers
are currently only held in by friction and a couple pins lying on the copper connectors there and there.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here we got there's the screen. So screen in a housing with a single ZIF connector for that. So yeah, you could totally replace that with something else if there was a panel of the right size, or if you print a different housing for the right size. Yeah. It just needs to have that kind of a ribbon on it.
That's cool. That's awesome. Well, dang, you got something fun in your pocket. I had never even heard of this thing. So Game Bub looks like the crowd supply is the pre-ordering mechanism.
Oh yeah.
So all right, sweet. Well, I don't know if you want to put that back together while I talk, or
I will try.
Put it back together later. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll say one of the things that I've been trying out is the Legion Go 2. Have you heard of the Legion Go 2?
Oh yes, I have. I have one back at the office.
So it's been through some stuff. I actually have been trying to install different versions of Linux on it to see which handheld versions kind of work best on a device like this, but. Luckily, during this time right now, I actually have Windows on it because I was going to go and check up the update. This device now has official support for the Xbox mode. I don't think we're calling it Xbox full screen experience anymore, right?
We can call it ironically Xbox full screen experience for as long as we want. But yeah, no, let's be nice. Xbox mode. It's a better name. It's a far better name. Let's just use it.
So Xbox mode. Essentially the same thing that's been on the ROG Ally devices, or Xbox ROG Ally devices, and has now been able to get pushed to this Legion Go 2. I did not even try to do it. Granted, I am in one of the beta branches for the insider builds, for these handhelds, but like the update just popped and it did an update, rebooted the device, and then immediately popped up the Xbox mode, whatever. And I was just like, oh, okay. Oh, no. Actually, what it was, Legion Space updated, and Legion Space, after the update, asked me if I wanted to launch into Legion Space or Xbox mode. That's what it was.
This is my problem, one of my many problems with Windows gaming handhelds, is there are 5 places to update them.
Yeah, just 5?
Just 5, I feel like.
It depends.
Last I checked, it was around 5 places to update them, as long as you don't install the additional like corporate update software that some of them also come with, like your My Asus versus your in the case of Asus. But no, I think that Xbox mode is a great idea, and I think it badly needs to be very, very much better. And I don't terribly mind that they are developing it in public. Like, I don't think this is
we're the beta
worst
testers.
thing. We are the beta testers. Like, as long as you know that going in, I don't think it's terrible. It was, to be completely fair, Valve did the same thing with the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
The Steam Deck shipped as a beta. Everybody who bought that thing originally was a beta tester for that, and it was a fun beta.
Yeah.
It was a very fun beta. I had a lot of fun.
Updates were coming hot and heavy early on. And I will say, actually, I do have a Xbox Ally X that I play frequently. You know, I'm always trying to move around between these, but every time I boot up the Xbox Ally X, I feel like I have been getting Xbox updates. Are they substantial updates? No. The one recently we talked about on a recent show, maybe it was last week, was they added sound to the menu navigation, so that's cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, for the Legion Go specifically, or I'm sorry, Legion Go 2, now that I have it on here, it is a little weird to see it somewhere other than the Xbox Ally X. Like, I'm so used to maybe that screen or that resolution that it's a little different. Here, it's a bigger screen. Like, it's a taller aspect ratio. It's 16 by 10 instead of 16 by 9. So it did trip my brain out a little bit seeing it like that. And I will say, unfortunately, because of that, the scaling is not the same as it is on the Xbox Ally X.
Where does that run? Where do you run into that most?
I guess I can turn it on, but it like the scaling that I have, and I don't know if maybe this is affected by the Windows scaling, but I felt like I left it on at default. It's displaying different. It seems smaller than what's on the Xbox Ally X.
I definitely like to see it. I haven't installed that on my Legion Go 2 review unit yet. Though I did spend a lot of time with it on the Ally X pretty recently, because I figured I'm going to need to brush up now that Xbox mode is going to be the thing probably for the next Xbox.
Yeah, so that's what I think. I will say, if you're using any of these Windows-based devices and you specifically want to use a Windows-based device and not just load Bazite or some variant of Linux on it, the Xbox mode is the way to go. Like Legion Space, like launching straight into Legion Space, nah.
No.
In the past, I was okay just going to have Steam auto launch and then going into big picture mode. That would break down then when I would have updates. Yeah, whatever.
I've been pretty critical of early Xbox mode, full screen experience.
Number one, it's better.
Right.
It's better than what we used to have.
We had.
But is it where it needs to be? Hell no.
No. and it's one of those things where I'm a little bit worried because, if you remember the transition, for those of you who've been on the Windows train for a while, you remember that when we got Windows 8 and then Windows 10 and Windows 8.1, there was this idea that they were going to make everything easily usable with touch, that you'd be able to do all this stuff on your touch screen. And how many years has it been, and they are still migrating things that need to be migrated so that kind of experience can happen. If it's going to be that slow with Xbox mode things that need to be migrated, I'm a little bit worried. If it's going to be faster because now the future of Xbox is riding on it, that would be exciting. Maybe it'll be better for us handheld gamers if this is what they need to push into the console too.
Which, yeah, I mean, not to get back into the discussion we had last week, but I do think we're actually, I don't even think we're the beta testers. I think we're the alpha testers, the handheld people, the nerds like us, because I think the real beta test is the fact that Xbox mode is coming to the desktop soon, and then they're going to get a lot of feedback by people using it there. And then, they've got time before the Xbox. Anyway, this is a Handheld podcast. I just want to say, like having Xbox mode officially on a device feels weird, but I'm glad it is rolling out to more devices, and I think it is the way to use Windows-based devices. At least it's the way I use Windows-based devices now, is through that Xbox mode. So I appreciate that. And look at that, you've been building this thing, rebuilding this thing.
I'm almost done.
Yeah. You're doing a good job of it.
Impressively, I can reach around the mic and still see what I'm doing. The one thing I'm running into, though, is I have lost one tiny little spring somewhere in this room.
Oh, no.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Well,
I have replacements at home.
Yeah.
Not from them, but I just have an extra bin of springs in my garage.
All right. Well, maybe we find it.
Reasons like this.
Also, unfortunately, I don't have this connected to our Wi-Fi here, and I'm not going to go through the process to do it. So I'll have you try it afterward.
Cool.
The full screen experience.
Yeah, let's move on to the next topic.
So let's get over to a couple quick questions real quick. Friend of the show, Zaz, asks, thoughts on handhelds running Android versus Linux versus Windows? Like, do you have an experience that you like? One more, like if you had to rank them, I guess maybe.
Yeah.
Let's do a tier ranking.
It's definitely, as long as you're counting the Steam Deck, Steam OS as Linux, that's got to be at the top for me because it's just so easy to pick up and play, and it just gives you the games right away as long as you're through Steam. If you're not through Steam, you can still get the games. You just have to do a bunch of side loading of various things to get there. After that, it's definitely got to be Windows for me next. Nothing against Android, but Android is just not built for the kind of gaming that I want it to do on it. And certainly the emulators are there, and you can sideload a lot of them, and there's amazing stuff you can do there. But it's just not robust yet the way it needs to be for the kind of gaming I like to do. So I put Android last.
Interesting. Okay. I think I would do the same thing, but I didn't expect that from you. Like me, I actually don't really appreciate the whole Android setup process, like just to do handheld gaming. Android was not built for handheld gaming. I mean, okay, Windows wasn't either, but at least they're trying. I can't imagine Google is working on a front end for Android gaming or for handhelds that use Android. So I think we're stuck with what we have now. It's fine. It's like setting up a new phone, sure. But it is definitely not as easy as SteamOS I would put SteamOS at the top. Obviously, it's the most easy. You literally scan a QR code.
But you'd put Windows last instead of...
No. Android would be last.
No, I'm saying Android last.
Yeah. Well, but I thought I would be the outlier. I bet Russ would put Android before Windows.
You thought I wouldn't agree with you. Yes. Yeah. I think you might be right, because Russ, I mean, he's got so much going on with his background in the emulator side of things.
Yeah. I don't want to speak for him, but if I had to guess.
Let's find out. Let's find out next time. I'll be listening to find out what he says to that.
There you go. So SteamOS, I would actually break up the Linux stuff. SteamOS is at the top, and then I would put, interesting enough, I would put Windows second. So SteamOS at the top, Windows second, all the other Linux distros third, and then Android fourth. Okay. Because, oh no, we're dropping pieces left and right. As easy as it is to install Linux, now that I'm a Linux expert, go listen to Duo Diaries, people. Just kidding, I'm not a Linux expert. It is not as easy as SteamOS. Like Bazite has done great stuff to onboard people. Nobara actually really liked that.
Okay, I'm sorry, I gotta stop you there. Is it Bazite? It's not Bazite?
It's baked ziti. I call it baked ziti around here.
Baked ziti.
No, it's not. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
It's a joke that a lot of people don't like. I have no idea how to pronounce it, so I just say something that is obviously wrong. Baked ziti.
Oh, so, I like it. Yeah. I like it. This is a great coping tactic. I'll remember this.
So yeah, and maybe I put Windows above the other Linux distros just because, I mean, I install Windows all the time, so it's just easy to pound through. But it's probably the worst onboarding experience.
Oh my God!
I mean, of course, it is. It's the worst.
Worse.
It's worse than Android for onboarding. It's
gotten worse.
Yeah, but with the full screen mode or the Xbox mode, whatever. Once you're in there, for the most part, I think it's easier. But yeah, to each their own. And also at the end of the day, what I like about all the Linux and Windows stuff is that if you want to Go to normal desktop mode. You got it there. It's just a computer. You can use it however you want.
Yeah.
I mean, within limitation.
My respect for Android went up a little bit up, I have to say, with two recent things that I've tried. One, of course, is the Game Native and Game Hub stuff. When you've got the possibility that PC games are coming to. I want to say possibility.
I've yet to try.
Because they are kind of here, but the number that you're going to be able to run on a phone, especially with its very limited cooling power, it's not that many. Even Silksong, like a Silksong, how much wattage does that use on your handle? Is it down to 6 watts? It's very, very little. 6 to 12 watts, probably somewhere in that range. If you are trying to do that on a phone that does not have good cooling, you start stuttering very, very quickly. You put a good cooler on it, or you put it on a handheld that's designed to cool down a phone chip. All of a sudden, you're looking at something better. But still, people are like, "Oh my God, it runs Grand Theft Auto 5, and it's running it at like 12 FPS, 15 FPS, something like that." It's not where it needs to be. That's just a matter of time, right? We're in that realm now, where PC gaming on Android is going to be a thing, as long as nobody at Google or their related companies stop it from being a thing. And so that's going to be very interesting. And then the other thing that gave me a new respect for Android recently was plugging in an X-Real headset, glasses, into my Samsung phone and realizing, wait, there is a full desktop inside there. And I can run a windowed emulator inside there in Dex. But right now that's Dex. But that's going to be, Google's going to have a desktop interface of its own. It's going to be standard, I imagine, that people will be able to whip out a pair of glasses, plug it into their thing, and have a bigger screen.
Which actually brings me to the next question from one Adam Patrick Murray. You are a big fan of these. What's the category? The X-Reals. They're not VR. And they're not AR either.
No,
right?
I mean they would call them
screens.
like XR glasses.
Oh, XR.
But okay. I don't believe that. I call them screen glasses. I call them like head-worn TVs, head-worn screen, that kind of thing. I don't have the right name for them yet.
Yeah,
there needs to be something else though, because the reason to buy these is not so that you can make augmented reality things pop into your field of view. It's so that you can have a giant, amazing screen you can take with you anywhere. The fact that they have AR technology built into them is very important, though, because once you have that built in, you can have that screen follow your eyes with you if you want to, or you can have it stay in place and you can look around it and you can see various parts of it properly, which you could not do with the older generations of that tech. When it was, your Sony HMZ T1, which is almost literally the spiritual successor to the PlayStation VR. Their form factor, like you can see kind of the progression in design from that to that. Anyhow, with that and all the other video goggles people used to have, the tiny field of view was a big problem because it was also fixed to wherever you were looking. And so I can't see any bigger than this tiny picture in front of me of the amount of screen that I actually have. And when I look over here, that whole tiny picture comes with me instead of letting me see more of the screen around it. Yeah. Whereas once you got AR baked into it, then it's like, okay, I only can see this much screen at a time, but now I am looking at that portion of the virtual gigantic screen. And so you can have a huge desktop and you're not looking at the whole huge desktop at any given moment, but it is still all there in the virtual world waiting for you to look at.
Yeah. Well, but I feel like you're a big fan of this section. Right, of all the people I know, I feel like you're the one who talks about it. You even talked about it with the Lenovo guy while he was here.
I did.
Like I've tried a number of them. Like my only use case, like I tried them on the plane because I was like, oh, maybe that's an easy way to sit on a plane and just have screens in front of my eyes when I plug it into my handheld. The other way that I've mostly used them is something that my wife really makes fun of me for, is that I'll lay in bed, I'll have detachable controllers like the Legion Go 2 and just like be laying there, like arms aside, and I'm just like looking up into the glasses.
I do this. It is
really comfortable and can be a good experience depending
I think
on the
my
hardware.
wife is trying very hard not to laugh at me for doing this thing. If you watch this, Kristen, let me know. If you laugh at me for this or not, secretly and behind my back, it's fine if you do. It's fine. But I've been watching 3D movies in this, because that's the other thing is, if you wrote off 3D, if you wrote it off this technology as a fad, and most people did, because of your experience with a 3DS, or your experience in the theaters with passive glasses, or your experience with a monitor and active shutter glasses that are constantly blinking super, super fast so that it can like alternate the eye perspectives to give you left eye and right eye views. If that is why you wrote it off, try it again with some kind of headset that gives you in actual, real, independent left and right views for your eyes. It doesn't have to be an X-Real. It can be an Oculus Quest, MetaQuest, excuse me, I'm set in my old ways. It can be anything that actually gives you a different picture for each eye. Because when you have the full color and resolution and brightness for each eye, and there's none of this blinky stuff going on, this dimming going on, and you look at Disney's Moana, and there's the water, and the water is three-dimensional, and you can see the turtles and fish swimming in that water that looks not just lifelike in terms of it being computer graphics, but lifelike in terms of I can see into it. When you're in this giant robot in Pacific Rim, which is not a true 3D movie, but there's elements of it that are. When you're watching the Lego movie and these 3D these Lego houses where they're doing all the actions, they're not just that looks like Lego bricks on a flat screen, but that's a diorama of Lego in front of me. Those are bricks.
Wait, so wow. how are you watching these?
In this case, I'm watching them on X-Real glasses, occasionally on Oculus, MetaQuest. I've tried some in the Apple Vision Pro. Okay. And in the case of the X-Real, you got to plug that into a computer. So what I'm using there is my Steam Deck. I have in this. You need a source of content. That's
my next question, because I was like, okay, so even if you want to try it, how do you get the movies?
Two ways. Unfortunately, it's far too complicated. There is the illegal way, of course. This is not the way I use. The two legal ways are the Apple Vision Pro. They have Disney Plus and a collection of movies that they have pulled into their Apple TV service that are 3D. They've actually taken 3D movies. Wow. This is not converted.
And
these were movies that were filmed in 3D, like Mad Max, Fury Road was in the theaters as 3D, and so now there is a 3D version, and they're taking the version from the studios and they're putting it streaming. That's one way.
Streaming 3D. Okay.
It works really well because Apple's got a whole new codec and okay. The other way is you buy the 3D Blu-ray and you rip it. You rip it with a program like MakeMKV, and then you throw that into BD3D MK3D.
Excuse me, what'd you call me?
You can find lots of instructions online how to do this. When this process takes some time.
Sounds like
it's computer intensive,
and you need a Blu-ray.
And you need a Blu-ray.
Drive
I have an old Blu-ray drive, and so
I mean those are getting harder to find.
Yeah,
man.
I bought an old Silverstone slot loading slimline Blu-ray player. It used to be in my NKSM1 PC. I put it in the front, and then I was like, oh yeah, discs come out. I used every inch of space in that NKSM1. I had big graphics card, like 5 hard. Anyway, moving on. This is a handheld podcast, and so you use this process on a PC. It takes a while. It takes a while to do the conversion.
You probably need some horsepower too.
You also got to make sure that you are doing the 3D conversion part, the 3D extract. I don't know what you call it. There's already a 3D version of the film on the disc. It's like a second layer on the Blu-ray of the movie. So there's like one left eye view and one right eye view, and so you just take the two, you combine them into either full or half SBS. SBS being side-by-side view. So if a half SBS is trying to cram it into one kind of equirectangular picture, and a full is doing it into a much larger one that is like a double wide. So it'll be like, what is it, 3840 by 1080? I'm not sure what it is. Probably 3840 by 1080. And so it's double a 1080p video. And so when you use the X-Reel or any other player that can play SBS 3D content, you just got to make sure to set that into the right mode. And so the glasses have a button that does this on the X-Reel glasses.
Oh, really?
And so you press the button. For some reason, you press the button to set it to half mode, even if you're watching a full SBS video. X-Reel should figure that out. And then, boom, it's there, full 1080 picture for each eye that's been within the constraints of whatever the resolution of the glasses actually is, which is less than that probably. And it's there.
You seem sold. You seem in it.
So much money, and who's going to rip all these? Who's going to rip all these discs other than like also a nerd like us with too much time on our hands?
Like the storage space too. Like that's what, like 50 gigs per movie, or what's the size?
I think I'm looking at, after all the conversion, and I use a pretty high bit rate because I don't want any. I want as little compression as possible. Yeah. I'm looking at like 30 gig a movie probably. Oh, okay. So it's eating up. It ate up my SD card to put like 5 movies on here. And not every movie is that easy to get in Blu-ray 3D, even if it's been in the theaters in 3D. So I had to order from Thailand a copy of Into the Spider-Verse on Blu-ray 3D because I heard it was one of the best 3D movies ever made. And
why Thailand?
It's really good because it wasn't released in every region around the world.
Oh, really?
They only released it in 2D here in the United States, and I believe in Europe too. I think it's only in Asia that got the 3D Blu-ray release of Into the Spider-Verse. So I paid serious money for that disc. It's the most I've ever paid for a Blu-ray disc, honestly.
Dang, all right.
And then when somebody let me borrow an Apple Vision Pro for a little bit, it's actually just available for streaming there easily. So I guess I didn't need to pay all that money. The quality on Apple, these 3D movies were never released anywhere higher quality than 3D Blu-ray, which is 1080p, until Apple showed up and was like, "Hey, we can stream these things at like 4K and we can do HDR
because of the Vision Pro."
And also,
good for Apple, I guess.
3D Blu-ray doesn't have HDR, so if you want HDR, that's how you get it.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So,
and you need the Apple Vision Pro, which is not cheap. Okay.
Oh my God! So either way, this is a bundle of money or time.
Yeah, you're into some interesting stuff, Sean.
But I'm sure that Apple doesn't have a lock on this stuff forever. I'm sure that MetaQuest and Meta keeps talking about more content consumption of other kinds other than games. I would be willing to bet that at some point, Apple's exclusive will expire and all the Disney Plus streaming stuff will come to Quest. They've already got a Disney Plus app on there.
Sorry, I found the spring.
Oh, we got a spring. Great. I also can't seem to find the bottoms of these screw holes for some reason, so I haven't been able to get more than one screw in.
That's okay.
I'm sure I'll figure that out later.
Just glue it.
Oh, no.
I get some super glue.
Well, it's a good thing that they didn't all get in because I need to put the spring back in.
There you go. Sean, that's crazy. But you got me interested, and then until you described it, and then I was out. I'm sorry. Like, it does sound like an interesting, the whole 3D stuff is like, okay, I never really messed with that. So
it's good enough that it should come back and probably will. Okay, yeah. And then by the time anybody thinks to care again, it will be more affordable and take less time.
There we go. Okay. Maybe the Steam frame will bring a new, renewed interest in it as well. So who knows? Anyway, Sean, let's wrap it up. We got to get out of here. I've taken all your time up today through various projects, so I'm gonna let you out of here. But it's been fun to have you around, Sean. If people want to follow your work, where can they go?
Yeah, I am
SeanHollister.com.
On Blue Sky. On Blue Sky.
You don't have SeanHollister.com?
I don't have my own website. It's a thing I've thought about for a long time, but every time I come around to it, I think I will never spend the time I need to update this.
Do you at least
and it will
own
just
the
look
URL
old forever? I don't think I do.
You should probably.
I think somebody took it from me. Yeah,
outbid them.
Yeah. I think I might have let it expire or something like that. I should check.
Maybe I'll buy it. Maybe you can buy it from me.
Can you buy it? All right. Oh gosh, here's some arbitrage going on. Can't wait for this.
That's how I make all my money. Wait, hold on. I just typed in.
How did you do that and get to a YouTube music video instead?
Sean Hull. It's 2 L's, right?
Double L, yes. SeanHollister.com. I am
forwards to a YouTube video that I'm not going to.
Does it seriously?
I have no. Okay, that is weird. I feel like you're trolling.
Oh no, I'm not. I've never heard of this band, but apparently I'm the man of the year. That's what's important here.
Dang.
The title of this video is Man of the Year.
So don't go to SeanHollister.com. Instead, Blue Sky.
Yes,
there?
I'm on Blue Sky. Okay. I have I try to put all of my cool Today I'm Toying videos there, in addition to The Verge. Verge, which is where
TheVerge.com?
you should really follow me.
Yeah.
Because
I've heard of this site.
My editor-in-chief will be very happy if you subscribe to that website. It pays my salary.
Actually, I subscribed to it just because I was like, oh, here's a new article by Sean that I can't read, so I guess I'll give him some money.
You can follow me there, and yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing from all you. I do try to read the comments on my stories too. Not everybody does that because my commenters are the best. They're really good. Some of them have been sticking around Verge for 5-10 years. They're great people, and so except for those folks, you know who you are. And so
why'd you nod towards me? you just kind of those folks.
I don't know what your screen name is.
Okay.
On the Verge. Anyhow, if you comment there and I don't reply for whatever reason, it's because for some reason I don't have email subscriptions working. I think on my Verge legacy account, because I was part of the website since the beginning, didn't get that upgrade quite the way it should have. So if for whatever reason you're saying something super interesting and I miss it because you said it like a day later and I didn't read those comments anymore, you're free to email me too or hit me up on Blue Sky. I love talking to readers.
You put your email out there publicly?
Yeah, it's Sean@theverge.com.
Oh, well, that's easy. There we go. Love it. Sean, thank you for coming on. It's been fun. We'll have to have you on again to have Russ involved as well.
Please.
Have you had a chance to meet with Russ?
I might have written a story about him on The Verge.
Oh, yeah. Well,
did you know that
Russ is awesome.
Is a Master Chief? He's literally a Master Chief. Maybe you've gone over this.
Well, yeah. Well, okay. I mean, I'm a big Russ fanboy, so yeah, I follow that. He's an awesome guy. We should just talk about him more when he's not here.
I agree.
Because he's awesome. Anyway, thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it. Thanks, Lenovo, I guess, for stopping by and showing us some interesting stuff. I did not expect that. But when he hit me up, I was like, okay, let's do this. So I'm glad to have Sean around to help me look at it. Thanks to Russ who's hopefully watching this show. He said he was gonna watch it or listen to it while he's on vacation.
Excellent.
And definitely thank you to you for hanging out with us. I really appreciate that. If you want to get some questions in for next week's episode, there's a link down to the Discord in the description, and then a questions channel called EH_questions. Put a question in there and hopefully we'll get read on here on the show. Also brand new for this is that the video form of the podcast you can get now on Spotify if you are a Spotify person.
Ooh.
I'm not a Spotify person, are you?
I mean, after hearing, if I were listening to this show and hearing all the sad things that we said about the Lenovo Legion Fold, I think I would probably want to see the Lenovo Legion Fold.
Which you can do on YouTube. You got to go over to youtube.com/the Full Nerd Network. You subscribe over there, listen to Dual Boot Diaries, Full Nerd, podcast, all that kind of fun stuff. But if for some reason you don't like Google or YouTube, then you can watch the video over on Spotify now.
I see.
I was hoping to be on Apple Podcasts, but then I found out that we're not for video.
And if for some reason you don't like Spotify, you can go to YouTube.
Yeah, there you go. So at least there's, instead of one place, now there's two places that the video version is going to be fed to. So anyway, that's a long way of saying thank you, everybody. We'll catch you in the next episode. Bye.